Hello and welcome to Cocoon. My name is Selena and this is your Mama Yoga class. So before we get started, I just want to make sure you have some sort of towel or blanket that you can pull into practice should you need it. So you can just have this on standby beside your mat, but it really helps to provide comfort for your joints or provide space that might need to be filled for you during practice. And so just always have that on hand, okay? All right, we're gonna get started standing. So coming up in through mountain to the top of your mat, okay? Mountain pose is huge, especially after you've had a baby, and especially if you're using your body as a shelf to hang baby on. This is not optimal for your alignment. So you wanna think about mountain in terms of stacking, right? Stacking ears over shoulders and shoulders over hips, and then hips over heels. Want to make sure you're not sitting all the way in the heels or coming forward too much in the toes, that you're equally rooting all four corners into the floor. And now this is a big cue because most of us, especially mothers, are butt clenchers, which means we've thrusted the hips forward. And again, using our body as a shelf for baby to sit on, or if we had really bad alignment throughout pregnancy, we were thrusting the hips forward to compensate for our third trimester, right? So alignment is key here. Think about blossoming the bum if you're a hip thruster like I am. Blossoming the bum, lift up through the crown of your head. It's like 20 cues in mountain pose, right? It's a very important pose. Did you know that if we don't have optimal alignment, we actually don't have functioning happening in the core and the pelvic floor, which I refer to as your bits throughout class. So we want to think about this as we're getting started here. Rooting, lifting, stacking, blossoming, and then breathing, of course. So let's start with a big cycle in through your nose and a big long cycle out. You can close your eyes or have them open. We're just breathing right now. Big inhale in. See if you can bypass the belly button and swell that breath deep down into your pelvis. And then just allow the exhale to follow with ease. Without proper accessibility, with the breath reaching the base of the pelvis and the pelvic floor and this whole area of the bits, we also do not have proper functioning. So continue breathing, attempting to send your breath deep down into your pelvis. So important. The breath is a team player with the core and the pelvic floor. So it does need to work in conjunction with these two areas. Last cycle in and out. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, you can just gently open your eyes and let's bring the hands together to prayer at your chest. Bring the elbows nice and wide. And I'm going to take my feet a little wider than my hips and just plie the toes outward slightly so that when we come down through squat, there's a little bit of space for my body to move into. All right, when you're ready, inhale, open your arms to the sides. Exhale, scoop down and do a little squat. Inhale, little rise to the sky. And then exhale, ragdoll up. So here you're just dropping your arms, dropping your head, and stacking vertebrae upon vertebrae until you rise all the way up to then bring your hands back to prayer. So let's intensify this by lifting up on the toe mounds. Coming up onto the tippy toes reduces our balance, which requires us to activate our core in order to maintain that stability. So when you come up to your tippy toes, I want you to think that there's a string attached to your hips and you're just going to cinch that string closed just an inch, no more than that. Otherwise you will activate the six pack. We are trying to activate the transversus abdominis, the core, that layer deep, deep down inside the tummy. This is the one that works with the team with our pelvic floor. Okay, are you ready? Inhale, coming up to tippy toes, arms to the sides. Exhale, scoop and squat. Inhale to the sky, and then exhale, ragdoll up. All right, good. And our last time, if you want to, you can stay in tippy toes as you scoop and squat. Again, it's going to level up this exercise, so feel free to take it or leave it. Inhale, tippy toes, arms to sides. Exhale, keep the heels raised as you lower down. Inhale to the sky. And then exhale, lower the heels and ragdoll up. Feels good. Awesome. Coming back to mountain. Shake it out. And take a little stroll to the back of your mat, and let's just do a genie squat to get down onto the floor. So remember I said your core is the third innermost belly muscle, and for most of us actually, this is the weakest one out of the 3 belly muscles. Most of the time, the stronger muscle, which is in this case the six-pack area, the rectus abdominis, will want to take over. So we really want to think about disconnecting these 2 muscles so that we can target the core. One really great way and cue of targeting the core is imagining a corset, right? And it's attached here to your pubic bone, and it comes up and wraps around and tightens all the way around towards your spine, because that's what the core does. It actually wraps around you. And this is a really great exercise to explore in order to tap into that sensation. So coming into tabletop, okay, just coming into a comfortable tabletop position. If your wrists give you trouble, of course, you can come up onto fists. Okay, and then from here, curl your toes under, and then we're gonna lift the knees up and hover them just an inch or 2 off of the ground. Okay, ready? Here we go. Lift the knees up, no higher than an inch or 2. And now I want you to lift your bits like you're sipping a milkshake up through the top of your vagina, and then wrap your core. Can you feel right from your pubic bone, that corset wrapping all the way around to your back? You feel that? Can you put a breath into your six-pack, into your belly? It should be soft. And if you're finding that it's not, that just means that those 2 muscles are so connected that the stronger muscle is taking over. Breathe. Feel the belly expand. Beautiful. And lower down. Sit back on the heels and roll the wrists out. So I hope you felt that a little bit. When you're connecting to muscles like the core, deep down inside of the pelvic floor, deep down inside the belly, it's more like you're connecting to a sensation. So it's challenging. So if you feel like, oh, I'm just not getting it, just know that you're not the only one. This stuff is hard, but over time, you will start to develop a connection down there. Okay, let's try one more exercise here. You can go ahead and grab your towel or blanket. This could also be a yoga block, a pillow off your couch or bed, anything really that you can roll up and create that density. Okay, I just want to make sure that when you squeeze it, it doesn't compress in. We're going to take that prop and put it in between the knees. So toes can be curled under or untucked, doesn't matter. Come up into kneeling. Take your hands to your hips, or better, take your hands to the area of your core. So again, this is that area right above your pubic bone, about an inch above. And here I want you to gently squeeze the prop, whatever you have in between. Gently squeeze. So as if a magnet is drawing your inner thighs towards each other. Can you feel that? It's not like 100% like, you know, it's just like a 30 or 40% engagement towards each other. You feel that? That's connecting to your core. Okay, now release, 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 release. You'll notice the glutes come into action there as well. The glutes are a team member in this whole functioning of your core and pelvic floor as well as the breath. Okay, let's try it again. Fingers to the core and engage. Hug the knees towards your prop. Engage 30 to 40%. Now bring your hands to your belly, your six-pack area. Is it contracted? Can you put a breath in it? Can you feel expansion? This is a really great exercise to help you to disconnect these 2 muscles. Tummy doesn't need to be turned on right now. Six-pack area, you just let it be soft. Let the breath move through it. Good, and then let's release. Amazing, okay. Let's come to sit on our bum and come into staff pose. So this is where we're extending the legs long. Very challenging pose to sit in yoga. Once you're not a toddler anymore, toddlers love to sit like this. They can sit like this, no problem. It's because they have strong cores, and we lose our core as adults over time. So staff pose is just like mountain, heels in line with hips, flex into the feet, Sit up nice and tall, stacking, lifting, rooting down the sits bones. You're not sitting back on that tailbone though, so lift it up. Okay, now let's check in. Can you imagine a string attached to your hips? Can you close that string, cinch it so the hips are kind of drawing towards each other, or imagining they are, just an inch. Remember, it's an internal sensation we're trying to connect to here. And just by sitting up tall, as we are in this L-shaped 90-degree angle, we are indeed activating the core. Cool, right? Didn't even know you were doing it. If this is super challenging for you to sit in, I get it. It just means we have more work to do around the core. If that's the case though, you take your prop and you just sit on the front portion of it, allowing the hips to roll forward and giving your bum a little bit of height here allows the pelvis to create that neutral spine and that nice lift, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so sitting up tall, we know our core is active. Now I want you to take your hands to your belly and put 3 big breaths there, making sure that this area, that it's not connected, that it is soft, it's not contracted. Be patient with yourself. Good. All right, let's shake that out. You can move your props out to the side, bring the feet together and give the knees a little jiggle. All right, so those were just a few of some of my favorite exercises to help connect to that area of the transversus abdominis, the core muscle, which has many players that involve coming online, such as the pelvic floor, the breath, the glutes, and many, many more. If you liked this practice, I would love for you to comment below. If you want to see anything else, please let me know. Namaste.